So let's talk about what a matrix is. Now, let's get this clear from the jump. So we're not talking about what the matrix is, as Neo asked so many years ago in the 1999 movie called The Matrix. We're just talking about a matrix today. So let's just again, I just want to make sure that we understand that from the jump. All right. So what is a matrix? So let me draw this up here. So a matrix is an array of numbers that looks kind of like this right here with the 1, 2, 3, and the 4 in it. All right. So it's an array of numbers, and the numbers are arranged in rows and columns. So the rows are the left and right. So this has two rows, one row here and then the second row here. And then the columns, I guess I need to erase this to create the space. And columns, let's see, are up and down. So this has a column here and a column here, okay? All right, so let's illustrate this again with a different matrix because this is a 2x2 matrix. And again, keep in mind it's going to be the rows is the first number and the columns is the second number. It's going to be a short and sweet video just to kind of give a quick overview. All right. So here you have a 2x3 matrix, 2 rows by 3 columns. Okay. So this is a 2x3 matrix. Okay. All right. So pretty straightforward. Now, say, for example, you have a situation where you add matrices. Matrices are multiple of matrices, more than one matrix, I guess is the best way to phrase it. All right. So let's draw this real quick so that we can best illustrate this. So say that you want to add the following two matrices. All right. So when you add matrices, well, really, it's going to be adding or subtract. Add or subtract matrices. So basically, you add the element in each position, the same position for each matrix. You add those together. So this is going to end up being a matrix, another 2x2 matrix. That's going to be the 1 plus the 5, the 2 plus the 6 over here, the 3 plus the 7, and then the 4 plus the 8. All right. So essentially, this just ends up being 6, 8, 10, and 12. Okay. Now, the numbers just work out that way because I just pick easy numbers to work with. But just to show you, that's how that works here. Okay. So if you're subtracting matrices, let's just use the same numbers. Uh-oh, I said use the same numbers, and then I didn't. I put a plus sign. I meant to put a minus sign. All right, so same thing. The corresponding element in the same position for each one, those are the ones that you're going to perform the operations on. So that's going to be a 1 minus 5, 2 minus 6, 3 minus 7, and then 4 minus 8. So this one just so happens to be -4, -4, -4, and -4. Now, again, don't think that just because we have all -4s here that we have this is like some sort of special situation. It just works out this way because I picked those numbers like that. Okay, so don't get confused by that. All right, so here's the key thing. You must have the same number of rows and columns. You must have the same number of rows and columns to add or subtract matrices. If you have different rows, different number of rows or different number of columns between the two that you're trying to add or subtract, it just simply doesn't work. Okay. All right. What about multiplying matrices? So if you're talking about what's called, and I'll just erase this. If you're talking about what's called scalar multiplication of matrices, then it works out. It's kind of a similar type of deal, but I'll show you what I mean when I get all this erased here. All right, so say for example, you have, let's see, you have some constant that's being multiplied by a matrix that's like so. What happens is all you do is multiply that constant. This is what's called scalar multiplication. Multiplying a matrix by a scalar, which is like just a constant. So this just ends up being a matrix with the same number of rows and columns with a multiplied by each element. Okay, simple enough. Now, if you're multiplying a matrix by another matrix, then it ends up being a little bit different. So it's going to be like this. So this is what's called dot product. So say, for example, you are multiplying the following matrix, A, B, C, D, by E, F, G, H, I, J. Now, here's the thing. First of all, the key to remember with dot product is that the number of rows for the first, the number of columns, for the first matrix, I'll call it matrix number 1, must equal the number of rows, something in the way here, the number of rows for matrix number 2. Okay, so look at this here. This is a 2 by 2 matrix, 2 rows by 2 columns, and this is a 2 by 3 matrix, 2 rows by 3 columns. Okay, so the number of columns for the first one has to equal the number of rows for the second. Okay, all right. And so what happens is when you have that, you have let's write this here. N times P. So you have a matrix number 1 and then matrix number 2. The first matrix has the same number of columns as the second one has rows. And you're going to get a new matrix that has M rows and P columns. Kind of sloppy there. All right. So let's do that. So what happens is, and I'm just going to use some color here. So we're going to multiply these by these. Okay. And then we're going to multiply. So let me just write it out. Let's see, change the color back. Look very carefully. So you're going to have A times E plus B times H. Okay. And that's that first element there. Now we're going to do AB times FI. So that's going to be AF plus BI. See, I multiplied this row by this column. And then finally, I'm going to multiply this row by the last column. So that's going to be AG plus BJ. Okay. Now, as you may have figured, we're going to multiply this bottom row by the columns again. So it's going to be CE plus DH, CF plus DI, and CG plus DJ. And so you see you have a new a matrix that has 2 rows and 3 columns. So it's going to have the same number of rows as the first one and the same number of columns as the second one, as we talked about right here. Okay. All right. So I just wanted to give those quick basics on matrices, or what a matrix is and how to add, subtract, and multiply with them. Dividing is a little bit more involved, so I plan on covering that in a future video. Okay, hopefully this is helpful. If you want math tutoring, contact us here at calendly.com/mathswaptutoring/tutoring-consultation. We have our weekly SAT, ACT math practice class, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel, as well as like and share this video, because I do upload tutorials regularly. So yeah, just trying to expand this library so you guys have something to kind of help you whenever you're not in class. Okay. All right. Y'all have a good one.